Welcome back to another episode of Week in Review. This week we're taking a look at the $200 million challenge coin, the Anvil Carrack, ArcCorp and more. The results of January's gift card giveaway can be found in the video description, and you can find an all-new $25 giveaway there too. So with that said, let's get started. So at number 5, we have the roadmap update. CIG have foregone the Star Citizen roadmap this week, with references around the community to the upcoming roadmap changes. In ATV, Jared mentioned that we'll have the roadmap on Friday next week, but that's not set in stone at the moment. We did receive a squadron roadmap however, picking up 3% progress overall. Vehicle Scanning V2 races ahead with 61% progress, with player carryables gaining 6 and Vehicle HUD V2 and the missile launcher both gaining 3. DNA face customization gained 1%, and FPS collision avoidance saw its move into the in-development phase. A short and sweet roadmap update this week, and Squadron sits at 60% progress for this quarter. At number 4, we have the $200 million challenge coin. CIG announced this latest backer reward this week, with this challenge coin being added to all Citizens hangars. All citizens who backed the project before the $200 million mark were rewarded with this coin, which you can use to decorate your hangar. It should have appeared already, and you can use it to spruce up your private spaces around the verse. If you can't find it in your hangar, contact CIG support and they should be able to help. At number 3, we have Around the Verse. This week's ATV features updates for the Carrack, VFX, ArcCorp and more. With the new flight model, thruster damage will affect how your ship flies. The VFX team have been working on making visual indicators for thruster damage, making it clear to players how damaged your ship's thrusters are. The 890 jump continues to be built out, currently being white and grey boxed. Turrets are being placed and the interior is being laid out right now. The Carrack is undergoing its grey box phase, having more of its interior layout built out, including the drone bay, mess hall and the bridge. CIG have taken feedback from the community and tweaked the previously shown design to come more in line with what players were expecting. ArcCorp continues to have its buildings designed, and CIG are working on different elements for the layout of the planet. The no-fly zones are being adjusted to allow you to fly over the top of the planet and see the vast cityscapes without being able to land. Area 18 is being designed and tested to decide the best look for this landing zone. Progress is going well for all elements of 3.5 that we've seen so far, and we'll see more in the coming weeks as we hit the halfway point of this development cycle. At number 2 we have Reverse the Verse. This week marks the first RTV of 2019, with Jared back in the driving seat and Todd Pappy answering questions about 3.5. Todd believes ArcCorp is the biggest technical challenge for 3.5, making the planet glow like a city without ruining game performance, and also making this planet look as good as possible. ArcCorp will be mostly covered by no-fly zones, but there will be buildings that rise above this level for you to fly between and even land on. This might be tweaked in the future, and not all planets will have this, but for now this is how it will be. CIG don't currently have any plans to increase the limit on the number of friends you can have, but Todd committed to have a look into it and see if it can be easily raised. CIG have an item on their roadmap to flesh out planets with more towns and cities. They're perfecting the procedural space station tech to adapt it to working for these towns and villages that can be placed on planets. CIG know that ladders can be too clingy, and they're currently reviewing the full FPS experience and animation speeds to tweak the player experience for the better. CIG are currently reviewing how reward sharing and group gameplay will work, with the first iteration of the system design being finalised. We don't have a timeline for release, but we'll hopefully see it when the reviewed roadmap releases. Area 18 does have its own public transit system, and it'll be a little bit bigger than Lawville. It's for commuting between the spaceport and the inner city of Area 18. Parachutes are planned for atmospheric gameplay, but it's not a priority at the moment. Explorable caves have been undergoing some early prototyping, but it's still far too early for CIG to show anything. They'll be doing an internal review in the coming weeks, and we may hear more on this in the future. The Reliant Marco camera mount won't be functional in 3.5, but the remote view may be functional so you can look through the camera. The same goes for the Reliant Sen, with no science gameplay planned for 3.5. Item insurance is being discussed internally, but it's still at an early stage. They don't want players losing all of their items all the time, but it's a careful balance to strike. Missiles are being worked on, with some minor changes coming from the new flight model. It won't be the magic bullet to fix them, but it should be an improvement over the current system. Ship customization is coming with 3.5, and the Origin 300i will be the first ship to be available with customization in the next release. It'll be a Tier 0 implementation, but CIG reckon we'll be happy with it nonetheless. Bounty hunting is being worked on, with weapons and mechanics being worked out. For example, what happens when you pass out. The economy will be getting rebalanced in the not too distant future, to give reason to head to planet trading terminals rather than doing everything at outposts. This will be helped with the addition of refineries, improving the number of products floating around the economy. There's currently no plans to increase the player count per server, but discussions are beginning this week regarding sharding and server meshing, which is required to increase the count. CIG are hoping to replace some of the elevators with physical elevators instead of the current teleporters, but this might not be possible in all cases. Some would take too long for it to be reasonable, but they'll make every attempt to do so where they can. And that's all for RTV this week. Looks like a lot of positive change is coming this year, and we'll hopefully see how this plays out. And finally, at number 1, we have the community overview. The community are ever eager to see a release of the roadmap, with CIG teasing the release of 3.7 and 3.8 for next Friday. Speculation is rife as members try to figure out what CIG has planned and what we might see over the coming year. This runs alongside the vast excitement for the revised Anvil Carrack, noting that CIG have taken on many of the community suggestions when doing this redesign. And that's all from me for this week. I'm running another giveaway, this time for a $25 Star Citizen gift card. You can find more details on how to enter in the video description. Like if you liked it, get subscribed and leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you in next week's episode of Week in Review.